to me, Urani ala to me. Igo darima ala ma igo darima baby ala darima so me ala darima ori ma bigi go darima so me ala ta me mama ori ala ta me mo ori go ta me mo ala ta me mo go ta me mo
So it's an honor to have everybody here, and thank you all for coming. This is such an important day for us at Terra Culture, because I'm sure some of you know our journey. We do exhibitions, visual arts exhibitions in particular. So this year, after COVID, we decided that we wanted to start telling stories in our gallery, as opposed to just showing visual arts. So this is our first foray into this. We recognize that Nigeria has such a rich heritage, and we recognize that oftentimes people focus on what is on the outside as opposed to what is on the inside. We also recognize that we have so much talent in Nigeria, from those that were taken away from us and also those that are still within our shores. So the journey of this exhibition is going to be in 6 parts. We're going to be telling stories that affect all of us as Nigerians before independence. So the journey of our fashion, our clothes, what fabrics did we have before independence, our religion. I'm sure a lot of people find that very fascinating. We'll cover Islam, Christianity, and traditional religion. What did we have in Nigeria before the advent of the white man on our shores? We'll also look at our festivals. We have such beautiful festivals in Nigeria. And oftentimes, there's no one place where you can get information about all of them that is accessible to a lot of foreigners and Nigerians that are visiting. In addition to that, we'll probably tell the story of our masks. We have amazing masks, beautiful, beautiful masks all over Nigeria. We're going to tell that story as well. So we're looking at a 6-part series of exhibitions that will span over a year and a half. Each exhibition will be up for 3 months, So every agency of government that is partnering with us, we would expect that you promote this for the next 3 months, so that when the next exhibition comes up again, we will have something at a reference point that we can refer visitors, as well as our students and our children, and even adults who would like to learn a little bit more about Nigeria when they come into Nigeria, apart from just visiting the museums. In addition to this, we do believe that public-private partnership is very critical. We are able to reach certain people that government might not be able to reach, and government is able to reach people that we are not able to reach oftentimes. So it's important that to further the narrative about Nigeria, we all need to work together. Terra Culture cannot stand alone, the museums cannot stand alone, the galleries cannot stand alone any longer. We all need to promote the Nigerian brand, doing what we do best, telling our stories. So I'm very privileged, and I do not take it for granted, that the Honorable Minister, Mr. Lai Mohammed, the DG of the museum, the DG of the gallery, and all the directors present here, within a week, literally less than a week or two of me asking that, sir, we would like to do this. We would like to tell our stories through exhibitions. They opened their doors. They flogged it open. They said, why not? Let's do this. We follow the proper protocols, putting in place the insurances that are required. And even with no funding, we were able to do this. You know, because for me, it's mind over matter. It's important that at some point in time, we put our personal comforts aside and begin to follow a narrative that sells us as a brand, as a nation, and as a people over the world. And as a Nigerian, I'm proud. I stand tall because that's the only thing I know, my culture and my heritage. And I want to push it beyond the borders of Nigeria. So ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor, it's a privilege to also have the Managing Director of EcoBank. They have supported our plays, and I'm hoping that they'll start supporting these exhibitions too. Because it is our story, it is our heritage, and it's important that we all buy into this. So I will be very happy to leave this floor and hand over the mic to the Managing Director of EcoBank, Mr. Patrick Akimutam, who is here with his beautiful wife, Mrs. Akimutam, and all the reps of EcoBank, Mr. Tola and Co. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for coming. Thank you.
The DG National Museum and the DG National Gallery, all my colleagues from EcoBank, the great people that work here with Bolanle Austin Peters at Terra Kulture, my highly esteemed wife, Eva. Pleasure to be here today, and I thank Terra Kulture for reaching out to us as EcoBank, as partners, to be here today. We started to work with Terra Kulture because of who we are at EcoBank. We're a Pan-African bank. We're present in 36 countries in Africa. I think after the AU, we have the largest footprint of any organization across Africa. And that speaks to the reason for EcoBank. The fact that Africans are a force to reckon with, the fact that we can tell our own story, we can build world-class financial services, and ensure that every African has the opportunity to realize his or her potential in the financial space. But we understand that doing that, whilst forgetting who we are, is not sustainable. Our culture is about the ideas, the intellectual capacity, the customs, the social behavior, the heritage of a race, of a people. And obviously, if any set of people or any race loses its culture, it has lost its soul. And we believe strongly, therefore, that we will not lose our culture. We would rather get to learn it much better, get to appreciate it much better, and actually showcase it much better as a culture that is indeed superior in terms of values. Our culture is very rich, our creativity is unparalleled. We see that when we participate in global events, or even when our various artists, be it in the movies, be it in theater, be it in prose. I mean, we have a world-renowned Nobel laureate in literature. And so we actually have a very rich culture. Where I come from is the cradle of Yoruba race, Ile-Ife. It's very rich in culture and I'm very proud of it personally. And being a Nigerian is something that we must learn to be very proud of, because together as a people, the composition, what is great about us, is much more than the challenges that we often focus on. And this is about focusing on what is great about Nigeria. I can assure Bolande that we will support the showcase of this culture, of our culture, to take it to the world, to ensure that people understand that before what most people read and talk about in the last 2-3 centuries, we have always been a people of deep cultural values, and we have built that over the centuries, and we are committed to ensuring that our culture is respected globally. So on behalf of my colleagues, on behalf of our teaming customers, over 20 million of them, and on behalf of the African people where EcoBank is present across the continent, it's a pleasure to be here today and to thank Bolande Austin Peters, the Honorable Minister himself, who's taking time to come here. And you can see from culture, he was here prompt and on time. I think we should acknowledge the Honorable Minister. It's not just by saying things, but what people do that speaks to who they are. And we thank the Honorable Minister and all the other dignitaries here today, and the media that makes it possible to take this to the world. I will be leveraging on the digital media, social media positively, electronic, print, audio, visual, all the various ways of communicating to put our culture in the right place on the global space. Thank you very much.
We will have Professor Albert. Thank you very much. This is really a big opportunity for us at the National Commission for Museums and Monuments to partner with the private sector. Just as I took up this appointment, one of my plans is actually to partner with the private sector so that the Commission can be able to, reach out to our public, that's the Nigerians and the international community, in terms of what we have in our collections, in terms of the richness of our culture, and so on. What we observe is that the national museums across the country alone cannot do that. So we need to partner with the private sector. And this is one of the things we are doing. In the coming months and years, we are going to reach out to many private sectors. Particularly, I'll be knocking at the doors of the banks, to partner with them as well, because it's a potential for us to actually partner, especially, trying to create a kind of a gallery in your banks where some of our collections can be displayed. And then through this, you can imagine how many people go to the banks, every day. So sometimes they will be waiting in the queues and so on. And if they will have the opportunity while waiting to get entertained, to get educated, to understand our culture and so on. And that will actually promote peace and unity, amongst ourselves. So this is one of the things I'm looking forward to. And the Honorable Minister is very much supportive. He wants us to look at this partnership as well. So I'm looking forward to this as well. So I want to say that we have a number of objects today which we loaned to Terra Culture that are in the exhibits today. And that will actually tell us about our history, about our culture. And I want to urge Terra Culture to please not only rely on visitors, but also to go online and promote this so that it will reach great majority of our people outside of this country, but also people from other countries as well, to see our culture and to promote our culture and see how our culture is rich, the richness of our culture. So I don't want to take your time because I know Mr. will be speaking as well. So I look forward to this partnership.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We will have the DJ of the National.
Highly elated to be here. It's been the first time I've stepped my feet in this gallery. What really amazed me is that for an individual or an organization of this sort to be able to come up with a private gallery like this, where I have gone around and seen beautiful things, dresses of various kinds of Nigerians, and all the traditional things that are here. In fact, it's very rare to find this kind of thing in the private gallery. So I feel highly honored to visit here for the first time. Incidentally, we are already working hand in hand with all artists in Nigeria to see that we promote the culture of this country. All the artistic work they are producing to reflect the culture and tradition of Nigeria. Apart from that, one of the major challenges we are having is that at the headquarters of the country, in Abuja, we have the challenge of having a standard national gallery. Because most of the artifacts and the things we have, the artist work, the artwork that they have produced, some of them are just getting destroyed because there's no clear place to preserve them. Since I came into power, since I was appointed rather, I have visited one or two persons that I think they should be of help to us. I recently went to the EFCC to appeal to them if they can assist us, give us one of those seized properties that has a land expanse that we can use to build a national gallery in Abuja. In fact, all hands are on deck and we are all working towards that direction. And they have assured us that they will do the best they can for them to provide us a place where we can build the national gallery in Abuja. And if we have that, we think this relationship between Terra Kulture is very recommendable. Ladies and gentlemen, I didn't intend to speak much because I know what I'm saying now is not different from what others are saying. I'm sure the Honorable Minister will conclude everything and give us details of what we're going to hear today. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
I am very delighted to be here. I think what Mr. Ibarra was trying to tell you was that the two of them came to power more recently. In other words, they were appointed by Mr. President and then they were moved to and I think it's like they got you and very soon after they realized that it's out of hard work, and I'm very impressed by the report I got from Mrs. Peters that the level of cooperation she received from you is just that it has changed her perception about government. So I thank you very much for Please permit me to start by welcoming you all to this exhibition entitled Cycles of Fashion, which is one of the events we are using to celebrate the Diamond Jubilee for their nation. The exhibition is a collaboration between the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture, where I work, and the preeminent art, culture and lifestyle center, Terra Kulture. The fashion exhibition itself is a series of multimedia exhibitions been hosted by Terra Kulture to explore how our social cultural ways have influenced and continue to influence the forging of a national identity from the diverse cultures that make up Nigeria. Of course, fashion has always been a valuable part of our culture, and its importance in our history cannot be ignored. Therefore, cycles of fashion will capture the rich contribution of fashion and dress code to the Nigerian national identity all through the years. Terra Kulture, with which we are partnering, has assured me that this incredibly immersive and colorful exhibition will take us on a historic, educative, and informative journey of the people and tribes that make up Nigeria and their unique dress styles. They said the exhibition is a departure from the typical static exhibition template because it will bring to life some of the mannequins through 3D mapping technology that animates the costumes on the mannequins, running different fabrics and outfits real time on the mannequins. I'm not surprised. After all, when Terra Kulture. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let's talk a little about fashion. I must say this industry is seriously underrated and underreported, especially in its capacity and ability to help advance government's economic diversification policy, as well as wealth and job creation. Why we continue to focus on music and film, we tend to ignore or underrate the fashion industry. I guess this is because of the lack of adequate information about the industry. That is about to change now. As you are very much aware, we recently set up a post-COVID-19 initiative committee on the creative industry. This committee, led by Ali Baba, and instead of which Mrs. Austin Peter was a member, did a great job that has brought to the fore the huge potential of the creative industry. Ladies and gentlemen, according to the report of the committee, the fashion industry's annual revenue is around 2 trillion naira. While the industry comprises about 1,000 businesses that employ over 30,000 practitioners. Compare this with the film industry with an annual revenue of 140 billion naira, or the music industry with an annual revenue of 300 billion naira, and you understand how huge the fashion industry is. Now, if we add the hair and beauty industry to the fashion industry, since they are natural allies, so to say, we have a mega industry that is worth about 3.5 trillion naira annually, because the hair and beauty industry alone brings in 1.52 trillion naira. At 3.35 trillion naira, these two industries are almost equal or bigger than all the other industries put together. And I am talking of hospitality, events and tourism, advertising, radio and television, writing, printing and publishing, comedy, dance and performing arts, as well as art, design and photography. See, this reminds me of a fellow that told me that the biggest and the easiest way to make money is to exploit people's vanity or their stupidity, but better both. The federal government is keenly aware of the negative impact of COVID-19 on the creative industry in general. hence the decision to set up the committee that I referenced earlier. For the fashion industry in general, for the fashion industry, which is our main concern today, such negative impact includes the fact that there have been little or no events or triggers to sell products. It also includes, one of the negative impact is also that there's extensive skill gaps at all levels of the value chain. There's also lack of access to raw materials, there's poor supply chain, there's poor funding, and there's poor intellectual property protection. That is why we have followed up the work of the Alibaba committee, and I'm sure he's here. Am I correct? Alibaba? He promised to be here. That is why we have followed up the work of the Alibaba committee by setting up an implementation committee headed by Otumba Olusegun Nshiwe, the Director General of the National Council for Arts and Culture, to, among other things, design an implementation plan on immediate and short-term relief for the creative industry in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, design a policy framework for tax relief for the various sectors in the creative industry if it is identified as one of the measures aimed at achieving immediate and short-term relief for the industry, and to work out a detailed implementation plan for a long-term intervention for the overall development of the creative industry in Nigeria. I'm informed that the implementation committee has concluded its work and will soon be submitting the report to me. I'm eagerly awaiting the report to enable us to intervene positively in building out the creative industry, which is the second employer of labor after agriculture in Nigeria. As we seek to diversify our economy away from oil, create jobs for our people, especially the youth, and also create wealth, we cannot afford to neglect the creative industry in general and the fashion industry in particular. This realization drives all that we have done and we continue to do to support the industry. On this note, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me thank the National Council for Arts and Culture, the National Archives, the National Gallery of Arts, and the National Commission for Museums and Monuments, all of them under the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture, for their immense contributions to this exhibition. May I also commend the curators, Oludamola Adebowale and Yakubu Yaya, who are responsible for the direction of this exhibition, focusing it on Nigerian fashion from 1900 to 1960, as well as Mr. Timi Onibon of the History Studios. Finally, I wish to commend the hardworking and creative minds at Terra Kulture, led by Mrs. Bali Austin Peters. He is wishing all of us a very successful exhibition. Thank you for your very kind attention. It is now my pleasure and privilege to declare open the Cycles of Fashion exhibition celebrating Nigeria's Diamond Jubilee. Thank you.
So I didn't
All right, so we'll start the exhibition. As we said earlier, it's an exhibition focusing on Nigeria's fashion, looking at the different regions that existed before colonization and the merger of Nigeria. So we'll try and take us through the journey We have 5 rooms, and they all speak to different people. So here we're going to be focusing on the different tribes. Here we have an Igbo. This is from the eastern part of Nigeria. Very colorful, very beautiful. This is similar to what the Obi Obonicha would wear. And it's usually styled in this white, beautiful gown, coral beads. And then we have, these are real eagle feathers on his hat. So I'm just wondering if you're familiar. This is a very stylish people, the Igbo people. I think I need somebody who's here, Chairman. Yes. And then this beautiful fabric here is Kampala. Hand woven Kampala fabric. Very old. Very old. All the things you see here are some date over 100 years. The fabric. So we've been doing this way before independence. This is also something from the George wrapper and blouse, favored by women from the southern eastern part of Nigeria as well. It's a piece of they normally wear the stuff and the silk gold. And if you look to the right there, you have this beautiful costume from the Creeks of Nigeria. Great Jaja Okobo's signature dressing. Some of us will know to speak about Jaja Okobo is beautifully done. This is the way they dress. It's very, very elegant with a roller cap there as well. And then we have these intricately woven. If you look at this is hand woven agbada. This agbada, if you put this in England and America, they'll tell you, oh my God, it's so nice. This would be there for everyone. Look at how all this is a beaded, multicolored bag and handle. Very, very trendy, very funky. And this dress is made from the bark of a tree. Skillfully, this is it. And you believe it's from a tree. Unbelievable. Undated, this was way years ago. And this is a Yoruba bronze crown, locally known as Ade Obalufon. It was a crown worn by Obalufon from Oshu State. That is and this also is a, look at this, beaded, every single thing here, all beaded. Beautiful. It's a leg rest, colorful beaded leg rest. Pushing from Ilefe, just from your Now, I'm just going to go this way as well so that you can look at the crowns. This is a beautifully jeweled crown donated from Oba Adeniji Adele. He gave this to the museum. And then this is an interesting beaded crown with a lot of cowries. The cowries was gone. So this person must have been extremely wealthy. Made out of leather as well. And beads, very intricate as well. So this person must have been extremely wealthy person. It's a Yoruba crown. Yes. This is the and then this crown was worn by the beaded crown, worn by the Alhaji Lai Mohammed, this one, 1930. It's actually my grandfather. So my mom passed them on to me. It was the Alhaji Lai Mohammed, 1930 to 1959. So these are real crowns by real royalty. I'm right. Yes, we should leave it to that for proper attire. Another one won by Alhaji Lai Mohammed, 1930. Another one from him. That is another crown from the metal crown adorned with feathers. And then this is a crown that belongs to Adeniji Adele. And then another metal hat there, skillfully crafted. Another Yoruba beaded crown here. Sorry, we're gonna have have to look at the shoes.
Why you do me so?
That is the beautiful, beautiful linking of our one of the most revered and fashionable monarchs in Nigeria. And from head to foot, with the exception of everything there is all white, then everything else is coral. Very stylish, very elegant. I mean, this is royalty at its best, and this is Africa. Again, beaded shoes, lovely beaded shoes, everything intricately done. And then we have this half slip. It's made of metal. I don't know who wears metal shoes, but clearly some people do. Incredible. And then from the northern caliphate, we all know how regal the emirs are. Look at that. The kingdom in northern Nigeria. Very beautiful. Put out. All the fabrics on the wall are all hand-woven fabrics made by Nigerians, so-called Nigerians, from different parts of Nigeria. Every single piece here is at least trousers, pants, spread out, hand-woven. Yes, and these are also crowns that were discovered in Scotland and shown over 200 years ago. Look at this beautiful and for those who would like to take pictures later, they can sit here and we'll like a photo session. And we put together a beautiful documentary that you'll be hearing playing, and anyone who wants to come in later can come and also watch the documentary on the fashion, the story, and all of that. Then I'll take you to the next room so that we don't. This is the female room. So please don't, if you don't mind, let us see. We need to see the art. Okay, that's it.
Thank you very much. Welcome to the very first thing you see when you come to the female room here is we have the Southwest African mannequin. Now this mannequin is putting on some very beautiful fabrics. We have a combination of around here and soil. So it's always well engaged beads as well. It's supposed to show well, and it's supposed to show experiences. So that's where the choice of colors and sparkle and the ground is coming. Here on the wall we have an irregular. Yeah. Beautiful intricate patterns. It's a popular color and this is very it's done on the fabric called Baba. Next we have the collection of different beads here. Here we have Jigida beads on the nose, we have grand Jigida, we have red Jigidas, we have metal neck beads that to this point I never knew such thing existed as wearing metal neck beads. We have metal neck beads, we have deep red coral, and we have blue Yoruba neck beads. The next model we have here is our northern model. So if you notice from the embellishments on this, physical body beauty is an important point for the northern dressing. So we have beads on the neck, we have beads in the hair, we have body decorations, we also know it as henna or lale, and then we have a veil over the head to cover significance of religion. And then we also have the material. The material is very colorful and well decorated and very clean material. Here, this is my personal favorite of this room because the stripes are just pops out. This is the Doma woman, and this is the dressing that they wore. This is very, very similar to that of the team, but the team is very white and black. Here we have red and black, and as you can see, just stripes having just also very well. Next year, we have when it comes to beads, nobody beats. So you can see we have red here, the woman. And then excuse me, please be careful. And then we have the beaded crown, the coral crown, we have coral native as well. And then the harness as well. Here also we have a red tie dye. This is called Alhaji for my belt guitar. So this is just beautiful. These patterns are achieved by the ties. If you notice the circles there, those are the points where you don't see the tie in order to give it that beauty. This is a male room, and as you can see, we just went from female headdress, and we don't want to cheat the male as well. So you can see this room is beautifully embellished, and I want to be first we have here is the representative outfit of sea people, and as you can see, there's something that strikes clearly. So here we have that waistcoat, and the middle of the way is one with the top and the torso and the wrapper, and one with the top and over the evolution of time, the trouser, and for ceremonies like weddings, it's worn in the full regalia. That's what we choose to represent here with Anabada as well. So on the wall, to this point here, we have plain George material, and as you can see also, we really have to wrap the room and wonder how this kind of material will be produced at the time. Next we have Yoruba mail, and as you can see, very it's like usual materials imported. And if you notice now, we're able to do the caravan back there and to the River State Park as well. Most of the attires that we wear were inspirational of what we saw from the Western field. You might almost inch and rim best because the attire is just fantastic. You can see all the shirts as well. Well flat to show, straight to show, lots of fabrics. Golden threads at different points. And the mask. Thank you very much. It's a version of the mask. It used to be called King's Court.
No, we don't.
Here we have just as previously said, Western influence in how choose to necktie, almost like a formal most of the time tends to match its tie, tends to match. So here we have these attire is iconic. You cannot wear that this and say yes, so you have is a very sacred part of the attire. It represents power, it represents authority. The origin of this Isiago translates to leopard. But making textiles felt like the lion was inspirational. So that's where the evolution of city life came into play. A lot of people don't even know that it was initially supposed to be a leopard. This mannequin here is dressed in the lepi, which is the attire of the Hausa Fulani one, and it was always very, very rich in texture and in color. And as someone once put it, this is the go casual, go formal at the same time attire. It's very functional, and it's capped off with the hat and some colorful paint. And then last but not least here, we have the Niger Delta mat dressing here with the hat as well, without wearing
After you
influence
finish
on the hat. Also, accompanied with the neck beads, the wrist beads, always a fashionable top, either white or colored. Here we have lace, and then also at the bottom we have a wild silk damask, which is usually, I said wild silk George, which is usually tied around the waist to cover up the dressing.
My observation is that the lighting needs to improve, one.
Yes, sir.
Secondly, the lighting, I think we need to know that these are textiles materials, and the lighting affects the textile, causes deterioration and also degradation. So in order to use UV protected light, so it's very important. These 3 months we see that there will be change in this. So it's very important to use UV protected light. For textile, it's very important.
Whether it is male, female, if you put it together, I do not think, we have been to 50, 60 countries, I do not think you find another country that has a rich use of SGL, whether it's male, female, and can build quite a lot of value.
You can do like a special edition. You didn't even showcase Hunter's hats.
Yeah, no flash, no lights, and we'll have limited number of people in at the time because it's small room, please.
It's almost experimentative and explorative space that we have here today. And this room, we're trying to pull out what is in the front of what the cutting edge of technology. We're trying to match that with our Nigerian values and our style. So of course, we have the in space. We have some really featured designs, abstracts going on in terms of the applications for the mannequins, sort of costumes to use. So yeah, we're trying to look for different colors, different ideas, and so we're just putting those together. And then here we have a preview for the documentary. The documentary room I'm sure you've been to is at the other end of this exhibition. And this is sort of like a preview just for you to watch as well. So I think it goes hand in hand with the costumes that we're showing. Kind of a reflection of the future and the past. So I hope you enjoy it.
So essentially, that's projection. On the mannequins going forward, and that's it. So this is what fashion looks like now. The use of sequin, fabrics, all sorts. So there we go. Mr. What?
Oh wow.
History through the medium of fashion. Fashion is the way human beings express themselves. And the fashion industry, like I said in my address, is one of the most potent means through which we can diversify economy. Because the fashion industry today generates over 2 trillion, employing over 30,000 people. And what we are seeing here today is how the fashion industry has evolved over the years, pre-colonial days until today. And we are seeing here the way that the different peoples of Nigeria have expressed themselves through their fashion, through what they wear, as clothes, as jewelry, as hats, as shoes. And it's quite interesting see that some of these artifacts, date back to hundreds of years, which means that even before white man came, there was then some form of fashion statement by people, and especially, impressed and excited when we go to the US section, when we saw different attire of different royalties being from the north to the west to the southeast to the south. So this is an exhibition that I want to commend to all so that you can understand that we come from a very rich history, a very rich culture.
We're looking into fashion at this time, but we're going to do a lot more in relation to so many other facets of our life. Yes.
So, with this concept, what message are you trying to send across?
The message we're trying to send across is that Nigeria is rich. We're rich in culture, we're rich in fashion, and in fact, if you know us as a people, our fashion is legendary. So from way before we discovered people coming into our shores, we've always been extremely fashionable people. You can see the quality of the crowns, the hand-woven fabrics. These are things that today in Europe or in America, people will sell for hundreds of millions. We tend to kind of undervalue the essence of hand-woven work. So I'm showcasing the amount of talent that we have in Nigeria, and that we should encourage our young people to go into textile making. We should encourage fashion. The fashion industry, we're all focused on growing it internally. There's a lot that we can do there. The purpose of doing things like this is also to let people know that we have such a rich culture, that the tendency to want to copy everything Western, which at times can be detrimental to morals, is something that we should sort of fight against. So this exhibition shows how elegant, how noble our forefathers were in their clothing, in the way the women dressed, in the way the men dressed. The new trend of sagging, the new trend of girls being half naked. Those are things that we're trying to disabuse by showcasing our history. And we keep saying history is important. History is important simply because it tells you where you're coming from. And if you know where you're coming from, it's most probably that you know where you're going. And this is the essence of this.
Well, for us at EcoBank, we have a lot of commitment to the creative industry. As the Honorable Minister said, the creative industry accounts for trillions of naira in our economy. And so when you look at what is being done here, taking us through the heritage of the country in terms of fashion, for us at EcoBank, we're going to leverage it to support entrepreneurs in the fashion industry. We'll also continue to support people in the arts and culture, which speaks to projecting Nigeria globally as a leading cultural country, promoting tourism, promoting youth engagement, because it's also to the history of our people and the values that we hold dearly. So we have a long-term partnership with Terra Kulture, and this is another step. So we provide financial packages for entrepreneurs in this industry, which is also in line with what the central bank has been promoting.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
They want to show that they are doing something.
We're going to turn it over, right? You remember the direction?
So we have finished. Oh, that's
That's a whole Mr. K. Mr. K.
Thank you.